Now, let's welcome Todd Howard, Craig Lafferty, and Jeff Gardinerto to give us an inside look at Fallout 76, Starfield, and the Elder Scrolls 6. Wow, you guys are really going to tell us a lot, it sounds like. I can't wait to...
We have nothing to say.
Nothing at all?
Nope.
Good segment. Thank you for coming by the IGN stage. You guys finally revealed Fallout 76. Very different type of Fallout game for you guys this time. I have a question about Fallout 76. It's a bit of a selfish question for me. This type of game, multiplayer Fallout game, what does that mean for the VATS system?
Well, it's still there.
It's not there. It is there.
It is still there.
Okay.
Jeff?
Yeah, we decided to keep VATS in the game. It's an
Cool.
integral part of 76.
It's my favorite part of Fallout, so it's great to hear. But can you explain how that works in a multiplayer setting?
Well, it doesn't pause the game, because otherwise everyone on the server would be very bored while
Exactly.
you selected your targets. You press the bumper, you pull it up, you get to choose your targets in real time. It's a faster, more fluid system, but it works pretty much the same.
What's good about it is, like VATS in Fallout 3 and 4, regardless of how it works, it fills that role for a player who maybe isn't the best Twitch kind of, shooter person.
Yeah, that's me.
And VATS still fills that role even though it's running in real time, that you can take your character, pick the right perks and your specials and say, okay, I'm going to be somebody who uses VATS a lot, and I'm going to be able to target people in a way that I'm not physically able to.
That sounds interesting. So is this going to be a familiar Fallout experience, just all the other people you see are other players?
That's a good way of saying it, right? You still, when you sit down and play the game, it plays like you would expect from us. You're coming out, you're exploring a world, there are quests you find, there are things you get to do and level up your character. But then the main difference, obviously, is the other characters, they aren't NPCs, they're real people.
Right.
Okay, so there are obviously differences in how you communicate or what other people might want you to do or to join them or all of those things. So whereas it feels like Fallout, it's also very, very unique in its game flow and your own mood while you're playing it.
So is every other person in the game a real player, or are there also still NPCs?
Every other human being in the game is another player. Even down to raiders. We took the raiders out. So
wow.
Yeah.
So how are you getting your quests?
It's a good question. We really leaned in on that. We debated this, right?
Yeah.
It's not an easy decision to say, but that was the vibe we were going after. That if you have NPCs, your mood changes, or you see a sign that says ammo for sale.
Right.
Well, you're okay, whatever, they're NPCs. But if you see a sign that says ammo for sale, a player made that, and that's a very different mood, and it's very Fallout-y as well. So going back to how you get quests, there's a lot of systems that we have in 4. People are already finding a lot of quests through holotapes or this found world or magazines, but we still have robots. So we use robots a lot for delivery of what the quest story is and things like that we would traditionally have an NPC do.
Okay. Is there, how do I put this, like friendly fire? Are you able to injure or harm every other player in the game?
We are still dialing that in.
Okay.
So I could sort of say where we're at with it.
Okay.
But we don't want this to be a griefy experience. If you want to engage in PvP, we want to have some drama there. And if you don't, we want to offer you the challenge and say, hey, if you want to do this, here are the incentives. But if you don't want to, it's something you can get away from or avoid pretty easily.
Interesting. And then there are also, don't know what word to use for them, monsters, mutants that are in the wasteland. How are you referring to them?
How are you referring to the mutants?
Well, yeah, or whatever the monsters are.
All the old enemies from Fallout are in there, and then we added a bunch of new enemies that we outlined in the showcase last night. All the mythology from West Virginia is so rich, and they'll offer a ton of unique gameplay experiences and in combat encounters. Some of them are super cool. Mothman in particular is really cool.
The Mothman is really great.
Mothman is
we'll
really
have more on that later, but he acts like a different kind of creature. He's not just the Mothman. He has certain behaviors. I'm about to spoil it, but
okay. Yeah, all right. In our footage here, we saw some footage from inside the vault. I imagine the game begins inside Vault 76, and then you create your character?
Yes, the vault acts as our character creation.
Okay. And then I'm just wondering how this game begins. You create your character, and then you exit the vault. Are you exiting it by yourself and then just going off trying to find other people?
Well, it depends on what the other people are doing, right? So that's kind of part of the fun randomness of this game. We don't know what everyone's going to do. There's a chance that there are other people in the vault, depending on who's making their character that time and which server you got matchmake to. And then when you step out, there could be people outside of it. There could not be. The game is not crowded. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's not. You're not seeing tons of people. Right now, we show them all on the map, so that you can find other people, because the world is so big, and we're just talking about dozens of people. So it's not. It's not this kind of party of people outside the vault.
Yeah, you said the world is, what, 4 times as large as Fallout 4, but only dozens of people. So what is that world filled with?
The things you would expect, adventures, locations, creatures, things. It's also, we wanted to expand it for a number of reasons. One was to have much more unique regions in the world and not have something that feels, the same. The other one is we felt that we did need to spread players out so that they could make their own journeys. And with the new rendering and landscape system, to feel those hills and mountains in West Virginia, we need more space.
I see.
Otherwise, it feels compressed. It feels artificial.
So a bigger world to traverse. Are you adding vehicles?
No.
No vehicles.
There are vehicles, but they explode.
Yeah.
Like before.
All right, so you're still getting everywhere by foot.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about these. There are live nuclear warheads available.
Yes, there are.
to players, but getting to them isn't necessarily going to be easy. Is that right?
No, the codes are very complicated. How you get them, how you find them, it's part of the main story. And then once you've unlocked them, you'll be able to repeat that quest. And the server landscape will change dramatically, like we said. Once you decide to nuke areas, there's some functionality there that I don't want to reveal right now, but there's some functionality to that on top of, there's a rival gang of players here I want to nuke. But yeah, they're fantastic. Really.
And going back to the nukes, with that, when people say get nukes, they think about just destroying things, like the ultimate power.
Yes.
But we really took it a step further to say, okay, well, what is why would you want to nuke an area, and then how to make that fun? So it really comes across, yes, if people stay in that area, it will kill them, but its main thing is to create this high-level zone. It's almost like, okay, we, the players, are going to create a high-level zone. Hey, it's fun to blow it up. But then you have to be high-level, make sure you have the right power armor and equipment to then deal with those challenges.
Okay.
So that's kind of the vibe of the nukes, not just, I'm going to kill these other people.
Okay. I have another question about the nukes, but to get there, you're able to build, like how large a homestead are you able to build? Like an entire settlement or just a really big house?
No, it's I would say a small settlement. Without saying how many units in game space it is. Hard to. If the ones you see in the video are like the scale of it. It's a decent size to build what you want, but it's not a mini city.
Okay, but if you're not actively in the game at the moment, is your home at risk?
No.
Okay.
No. So when you log off, your camp basically goes with you.
Yep.
So no one can mess with it. And then when you log back in, again, even though there are servers, it's the player sees it serverless. And then we put your camp back.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if someone does get their hands on a nuke, that would pose a threat to everything you've built, I would have to assume.
And the same thing like with the griefing, they can damage what you've built, but they can't eradicate it forever.
Okay.
And then you have the ability to easily repair it.
Okay. All right, interesting. This sounds like a very, very different Fallout game. Very interesting, though. What are you thinking about mods? Mods has traditionally been a big part of Fallout.
It has. Something that we love, that we're 100% committed to doing. We're not going to have the ability to do it at launch. So right now, we're at this point where we're designing a service that will come online later where you can have your own private world and also have the ability to mod it yourself, use other people's mods. That's very complicated when you get online, but it's something we're definitely committed to. We love what our fans have done modding our games, and that's kind of where, the life of our games have been after they're out for a while. It's, a lot of people are modding and playing it that way. So not for launch. It'll be a ways after, but definitely something we're doing.
Okay. All right. Along with Fallout 76, you revealed a few other games last night. Can you tell us anything more about the next Elder Scrolls? I know.
Well, the next Elder Scrolls for us is Blades.
That's right.
The
Of
mobile
course,
game.
there is Elder Scrolls Blades, which also looks very impressive.
Yes, it is. It's a massive role-playing game, but made for phones.
Yeah.
So made for mobile. So something we've always wanted to make. We've had this idea for a while. We play a lot of games on a lot of different systems. You always have your phone with you, so there's a lot of chances during the day to play the game. So we wanted to make a game that our fans would like on the phone. So it's designed for mobile, easy to pick up and play, but a lot of depth, what you'd expect out of the Elder Scrolls. So it feels like Elder Scrolls on your phone.
And so what can you tell us about who you are and what story you're telling there?
You're a member of the Blade, so you come back and you find your town is destroyed and you've been exiled, and you have to find out why is the town destroyed and what do you need to do to rebuild it. So there's a full quest line, a full Elder Scrolls quest that you play through, as well as the Abyss mode, which is sort of an endless running dungeon, and then you can take on other players in the arena. So there's a deep single-player experience for people, and also multiplayer and other ways to play.
And does it take place in a recognizable Elder Scrolls area?
Yeah, it doesn't take place in a specific place. You're sort of rebuilding your towns. We don't say where it is, but it takes place in Tamriel, in the Elder Scrolls world. And we give the player the ability to redesign it or to build the town the way they want and customize it the way they want.
Very cool. All right, well, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming by
Thank you.
the stage. Fallout 76 is out pretty soon, November 14th.
Yep.
And we will very much look forward to hearing more about the next Elder Scrolls 6.
Be patient.
Starfield.
Patience.
Yeah.
Patience is a great thing.
I like to say it's a virtue.
It is.
Starfield is also very exciting sounding game. Sci-fi. Is it safe to call it a science fiction RPG?
That's very safe.
Good.
Yes. That wasn't obvious.
I'm trying to throw you softballs over here.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming by
Thank
the
you.
IGN stage.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thank you.